Why, hello there, friends, and welcome to the obligatory top 5 of 2019. This is the video that I do at the end of every year to basically tell you guys what my favorite games were. In an essence, that's literally what this is. With some rules, of course, but we'll get into that in just a second. This year we actually had a lot of pretty good visual novels and games and such that came out, and it was kind of hard to rate them, in my opinion. Now, we didn't play as many games as last year, but that's because we did a lot more longer games, I guess you could put it, rather than the shorter titles that we did last year. So that's something that's different. Nevertheless, we still had a lot of games that we played this year. But now we move on to the rules of our little obligatory top 5 this year of 2019. Now, what do I mean by rules? What I mean by rules is essentially what it was last year. The rules are the game had to have either been beaten on the channel this year, as in completed, finished, or almost finished. And that's always the caveat that people are like, oh, I don't know about this. Actually, there's a lot of other caveats that people will complain about, but this is my show, so yeah. But that also means that some games are disqualified from being in my top 5, because we have different categories this year as well. So take a game that I'm not even close to being done with. That is unfortunately disqualified and will not be able to be part of this year's top 5. But that might change for the next year. Sorry guys, Sonobuichi is not allowed to be on the top 5 this year because there's still so much of that fucking game that I need to play through. And I know we've been playing it for like 32 years, but it'll probably be on next year's list as a top 5 because it's actually really good. Also, games like Alcana, where I'm literally not even close to beating, are also disqualified. But as I said with Sonobuichi, I just like calling it that. Who knows? It might be on next year's list. Really depends on if I ever beat any video game ever. But the game doesn't have to have came. By the way, the game doesn't have to have come out this year. Just throwing that out there, because for us, we get localized games and their release date is listed as, whatever year they were localized for us. But in actuality, they were been out for a few years. So just throwing that out there. It doesn't matter when the game was released. All that matters is if I played it, I completed it or almost complete it. And yeah, them's the rules. Not really a lot of rules. Just throwing it all out there. So let us hop into my top 5. But first, we have some different categories this year, along with going with the Space Marine top 5. And what are these other categories, you might be asking? Well, I'll probably just sprinkle them in throughout the top 5 of this year, see how that works out. Do my 5 and then do the next category. Or I might just say fuck it and just do all the new categories first and then move on to the top 5. I don't know. It really depends on how I feel editing this, because I'm not. This is scripted, believe it or not. And by scripted, I mean I don't actually have a script. I'm kind of just going off basic things of what I want to say in my head. So yeah, let's head on in. Let the new categories be a surprise to you guys, cause it's not a lot of new categories, but there's something. Also, the Patreon pick, that's a category. I'll at least tell you guys that one. The new categories don't apply. Don't have to follow the rules, by the way. Well, I mean, they kind of do. The Patreon pick specifically doesn't, but my other rules. Yeah, you know what? Let's just jump in. My number 5 of this year is Happy Nightmare, or Happy Mayhair, however you want to say it. I just like to call it Happy Nightmare. This game is again brought to us by the genius insanity-ness people at Purple Software, probably one of my favorite VN developers at this point. They made Chrono Clock. They brought us Happy Nightmare. They're bringing us a new one. Well, I mean, a new one's being localized next year. But my God, is Happy Nightmare a fucking roller coaster. And it is a fucking nightmare sometimes. A lot of the game can seem very confusing, I guess, at first. But the writing is on fucking point, because you might have fucking questions and you still might have questions, but it all kind of just gets put together in this nice coherent story that is just absolutely fantastic. If you like lucid dreams and what's real, what's not real, what is dreaming, what is not dreaming, you know, that sort of crazy shit, then you'll end up liking this game. It is fairly long game, but I think it needs to be that way in order to get its point, its story, everything across. The characters are great. Even the fucking main antagonist is great. And you gotta have good characters visual. This is how it is. And every one of us, these characters in the top 5 in general, are all pretty much good. So, but yeah, Happy Nightmare, top 5, first top number 5 brain. Let's move on. Patreon pick of 2019. Funnily enough, the Patreon pick, which was pretty much a vote that I had on Patreon of every game we played this year, and I basically was like, here you go, vote. And funnily enough, it was tied for the longest time between Happy Nightmare and our inevitable winner, Sanabawichi. Told you didn't have to apply to the rules. Actually, literally before I started recording these lines, we got the definitive vote from someone I have no idea who broke the tiebreaker. Didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think, what I was gonna do with having to break a tie, but I didn't have to. And the Patreon pick is Sanabawichi, which definitely makes sense. It is a fantastic game, and it'll probably end up on the list next year. It's full of emotions, full of supernatural shit, but also, you know, it has a lot of heart to it, I guess. Like, you could definitely feel the love. You know what I mean? But yeah, so Patreon pick, Sanabawichi. Get it. We're still in Toko's route. And we got like 2 more routes to go after that. Whew. Oh boy. See, I told you guys, that's why it's not on the actual top 5. You got at least it's in here, the Patreon pick. What do you want from me? Our number 4 this year is the Luna and Bree. You had to have seen this coming, really. This is brought to us by Latched Up Games, and it is just a wacky, silly roller coaster of derpness, but the writing is actually really good in terms of like the jokes and stuff, even for me, who's not even Australian. And that's basically where the game's set and where a lot of the jokes come from. It's still fucking hilarious. This is the sequel, quote, quote, of Max's Big Bust. Well, I mean, Max's Big Bust is actually getting a sequel called Max's Bigger Bust. But I guess you could say this literally happens after Max's Big Bust, but it was turned from a visual novel, straight visual novel, to a visual novel, dating sim, RPG amalgamation that I feel works pretty well. It did have some problems, with a lot of downtime, with the going to the shops and such, with the inside the game. But I loved it, man. This is one of those games that there's so many fucking characters. All of them are interesting and unique. You have Bree in the game who's literally like thinks like me. So it was weird. It was a weird experience to have me have a character who thinks like me and is a big busty pink-haired protagonist. But yeah, you got all the characters from the original game coming back with a whole new story about trying to stop the monster girls from taking over the fucking city and turning everyone into monster girls, which really doesn't seem like that bad of a thing, because who knows, society might have run better, and that's actually a joke in the game, and it's great. You can date whoever the fuck you want, well, out of the 9, so was it 9, 10, 9, Space Marine, whatever. I chose Max because I thought it'd be funny. But anywho, yes, I thoroughly enjoyed Luna and Bree. I know a lot of you did. Unfortunately, I wish it got more publicity. I really do. I know the first one, Max's Big Bust, got a ton of publicity because more YouTubers and such played it. And I think I'm like the only one who played a Luna and Bree. And I ain't no big YouTuber. I can't help that much. But you know what? People are missing out, and I'm glad I was able to play the game, enjoy it thoroughly, and I hope you guys, whoever played it or watched it, did as well. But yes, that is my number 4 on the top 5 list. Biggest surprise of 2019 is Trap Shrine. What other fucking game did I have to put here other than Trap Shrine for biggest surprise? It was too good of a joke to pass up. Surprise, trap, get it? Brilliant. No, I'm not. But seriously, not gonna lie, Trap Shrine was actually a pretty big surprise. It was fantastic. It was funny. You had traps. And you had fucking goddesses who weren't goddesses, they were traps. It was a good fucking time. And I know there were a lot of people uncomfortable with it because they're like, oh, this is traps. But seriously, you should give it a shot. It's not like I recorded the H scenes or anything, so it's not like you gotta put that in there. There were H scenes, and you know. But yes, biggest surprise, Trap Shrine. Joke. It's about time this game got on the list. And this is, oh, burp, Shining Song Star Nova. We played this game for quite some time, and we finally completed it this year, literally the middle of the year. So I feel like it's more than qualified. Last year, I didn't want to put it on the list because, you know, I was not even close to being done. But now I am, so here we are with Shining Song Star Nova, made by Love in Space. You guys know I'm a big Love in Space fanboy. I don't call myself a fanboy for most things, but I will probably end up consuming everything that Love in Space does from ever. Ever since I played Sunrider. All the you know, the first original Sunrider, the free game that was literally the game that got me into visual novels and doing all that stuff, and now we're here. But yeah, Shining Song Star Nova is about an idol group who are going through the trials and tribulations of being in an idol group, as well as all the bullshit that comes with it, aka the tribulations and trials. And trust me, there's a lot of bullshit, whether it be family or rivals or what have you. These idols literally face everything. And I think the game did a very, although it might be over exaggerated at points, I think it did a very good job in showing that it's not all sunshine and rainbows in the idol industry, which you could probably assume that's the case. But just in case you didn't assume it, boom, here you go. There it is. So, yeah, I really enjoyed Shining Song Star Nova. All the characters grew on me. All of them. Like, I would say there were two that I did not like at the start, but eventually I ended up loving them just as much as the others. Those two would be Aki and Julie. I ended up loving them as much as the others, so if you can do that, I mean, there you go. But yeah, Shining Song Star Nova, my top 3 this year. We're getting up there in the list, and things are coming. Best streamed game of 2019. Of course, it had to be Love Language Jap. No, I'm kidding. It's really not. It's actually National Park Girls. National Park Girls is a game that we've been streaming when the episodes come out. We did the most recent one not too long ago. But I feel like the game is a lot better than you probably would expect. I mean, it's quite literally anthropomorphic national parks, aka national parks turned into anime girls. Like, what do you where are you gonna go from there? But I think it's really well done, actually. It's really well executed. The 2 episodes that have been out so far that we played through, like, it's just like you got the national parks, Yosemite and Zion and Yellowstone, and they don't know why they exist. And whenever something happens to the national park, it happens to them. Like, if something catches on fire, they feel the burning and like shit like that. And you're literally playing as a fucking jaded, like, just a park officer is just like, nothing matters. No one cares about the national parks. You know? And even she's fantastic on her own. You don't normally see a character being like that as the main character. But they grow and evolve, and man, I can't. There's like, what, 3 episodes left that are coming out, and I'm really excited to play every single one of them because I feel like everything with the game is on point. So, yeah, the best streamed game of 2019, National Park Girls. Get on that. My number 2 this year is actually what probably most of you thought was going to be at my number 1. It's Labyrinth of Grisaya. You can't have my... If Grisaya is beaten in a year that I do this video, it's going to be on the list, and it's always going to be high on the list. Because you know why? It's a fucking emotional roller coaster. It has amazing storytelling. But yes, this is the sequel to Fruit of Grisaya. And rather than focus on the heroines of the story, it ends up focusing on the main character himself, because I'm Yuji Occupation Student, where we do flashbacks and go back into the past and see just how he became the person he is today. And I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's a ride. Literally everything happens to this man. And it makes you just like, how does one get through all this? And you know, the craziest part is he gets through it and he's just a normal guy, you know? Like, yeah, he's a badass, but he became the badass, but you know, he went through a lot of shit. And that's literally where the game ends, after you figure out his entire backstory, and that's when the third game kicks in. And you know, there's a lot of laughs, there's a lot of tears, and a lot of what the fuck. But yes, Labyrinth of Grisaya, this even counts the side story that we did. All of it's fantastic. We haven't done the other side story yet, but we're going to. I don't really know what else to say. It's Grisaya. Of course it's gonna be good. So there you go. My number top 2 Brain Space Marine of 2019. Now, before we get into my top 1 pick of this year, I thought we would just show off some honorable mentions of games that we've done this year that, like I said, it was hard to figure out my list this year. So I feel like every game we did was pretty much good. So yeah, we're gonna jump into some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut, but for whatever reasons or another, for the top 5 list, that is. And my number 1 of 2019 had to be the Sankaku Renai Love Triangle Trouble. You might be surprised. Then again, you might not be. When this game was released, It it was pretty much literally everybody and their goddamn mom playing it. It was insane. I haven't seen such a big deal for a visual novel in a long time. And when I checked it out, I honestly saw what all the hype was about. It's a visual novel that literally doesn't like pull punches with its comedy. It does. To me there's like, it's a straight comedy visual novel, of course. Well, I guess it's a comedy visual novel, but there's some romance when you actually get into the routes. But throughout the entire common route, it's just fucking stupid. But you know, the main characters are just a bunch of fucking nerds and otakus who love the video games and the animus and all that good stuff. And it's just hilarious. The jokes that they make are just so funny and especially topical at some points. Hell, they make they make jokes about Brexit and shit. Like, and none of the jokes fall flat, in my opinion. I feel like this game was really the best way I can describe it is it's a breath of fresh air from all the like other visual novels that have come out, where like I don't know, so like jokes can sometimes just be like, oh, I don't really understand that one, but I don't know, man, this one really hit it on the head with every single aspect. The characters are fantastic. The writing's fantastic. The art is fantastic. Fucking everything about it is fantastic. The H scenes aren't a million years long. Thank you. Thank you. Now that might not seem like a big deal, but dear God, it is a big deal to me. Cause I like short and sweet H scenes. But that's not why it's on the list. It just helped it get to the list. But yes, Sun Conqueror Nai is definitely worthy of being my game of the year that I've played on the channel. And we're not even done with it yet. I would have been done with it if YouTube didn't decide to take down a Time Tenchi video and strike me and make me not upload for an entire week. But hey, we're you know, I hit my hand on my desk. But anywho, that's really all I have to say about the game. It's just go play it or watch it, whatever you want to do. It's fine. I don't care what you do. Just you need to experience it. And in fact, you need to experience every game I have on this list. And if you don't, I hate you. No, I'm kidding. I don't hate you. Yes. Love Triangle Trouble. Top 1. Best game of the year. For me. Space Marines. Wee Woo Alert. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that list. It was definitely something. We had a really good year, I feel like, in terms of what games were coming out, channel still growing, you know. I get it. But Scott, playthroughs aren't the way to grow your channel. I understand, but I just want to do what I want to do, man. You know, if it means growing at a gradual pace, that's fine. I'm playing these games. You guys are enjoying them. That's all that matters to me. But yeah, we had a ton of games, ton of really good ones. Hopefully next year's gonna be insane. But just throwing that out there. Next year we're getting Making Lovers and fucking Senran holy shit. There's gonna be a lot of games coming out next year, and a lot of me having to play all these games. that, you know, that I need to play. So, hope you guys enjoyed. If you don't, tell me what your favorite games were. It doesn't even have to be on whatever the fuck games that I played on the channel. If you want it to be, you can, but it doesn't have to be. Tell me in the comments what your favorite videos? Scratch that out. Favorite games were this year, and list them. I like to see that shit. And yeah, I really don't have anything else to say, and I'm not gonna do that YouTuber thing. I mean, I guess I have to do that YouTuber thing. Check out the Patreon and like, favorite, and subscribe. I feel gross. No, I can't do it. I can't. It hurts so much. I'm leaving. Whatever. Just links in the description for fucking everything. I don't care. I hope you guys have a great day. Great new year coming, hopefully. See you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, bye. See you later. Space Marines. Ow! Hit my hand on my desk. See, bye.